Hey, what's going on? Nick here from virtualassistantassistant.com. Today I'm joined by Russ Perry from designpickle.com. Probably the first, or at least the first that I came across, of this new batch of unlimited graphic design or productized graphic design services, but he's going to explain it better than me. So Russ, you want to tell us what Design Pickle is all about?
Yeah, awesome, Nick. Thanks for having me on. Design Pickle is a graphic design service. We can't get more simple than that. We help people get the visual content they need. And like you mentioned, our model is really simple. We charge one flat rate, starts at 370 bucks a month. You get matched with a dedicated designer, and that designer shares about 10 clients, and they just work on your stuff every day. So anytime you need ad, brochure, really the limitations, we try to keep it within the scope of a brief email, like, hey, I need this, can you make this, blah 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 blah. They can get it knocked out for you, and in usually about a day, and the next day those files are delivered back to you, and you download, use, or if you need edits, the whole process begins over again.
Okay, so 1 day turnaround time, that's pretty quick. And then as soon as that comes in, I could submit something else. Or if I need tweaks, I can say, hey, I like this, but could you move the thing up here?
Yeah, and you can, so the 1 day turnaround time, that's about average, but if you submit 50 requests at one time, then your designer is just going to start knocking those out, and,
Sure.
and that might take some time. Or let's say you need something high, like really complex, so like a lot of things, and that can take a few days.
Okay.
But we aim to just over communicate where things are at. The design team and what we've designed as far as the experience is all about that relationship. But yeah, you're the art director. So the people who have the most success with our service usually have something they're already working on. Either it's a marketing campaign, their brand's pretty established. We would stay away from like the one guy who has an idea and is like, brand me, make my new site. Let's get coffee and talk all day long about what I want to create. That's not really who we're
Okay.
looking for.
Okay. But more on, like you said, the banner creation, the social media images. What else would be a common use case? Now, you mentioned if you have a longer project, like, I need you to design the PowerPoint deck or some sort of like brochure or something, like that would be okay. Just expect a slower turnaround time.
Yeah, and let's take a 8-page brochure or something that you want to do for an event you have coming up. Typically, what we would do is we'd get all your info, all the content, all the stuff you want, and then like do 1 or 2 pages first.
Okay.
We'd iterate on that. Once the visual style is nailed down, then we would then design the rest of the pages. So that project, maybe that would take 3 or 4 business days, because you're still dialing in. And the clients that really come in with clear vision, like they got it locked, they have clear examples, a website, their brand is polished, like these really tight brands that have been really worked on by different like branding guys. Those are usually clients that can get stuff back faster, because it's like, I need this to look exactly like this, but here's the new stuff. And we just dive right into the flow of it. So everyone's different. That ultimately becomes the hardest part about our service, is I can't guarantee what your experience is, because it's largely dependent on your experience.
Yeah. Well, this is a tough thing because I've always said design is a tough thing to outsource because it's so subjective, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you have in your mind is usually not what's going to come back the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, that's not really what I was thinking, or hopefully it's better than what you were thinking. I don't know. So I've paid as little as, I paid as little as zero, do a lot of design myself, like in PowerPoint and stuff, up to, a couple $100 or more for a book cover and stuff like that. Would, a book cover fall under the realm of, hey, yeah, I can do that for you?
So I have a really funny story. I've never even told anyone this about book covers. We were talking, I'm launching my own book soon. My buddy here in Arizona, where I'm at, he did a book about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And he's a Design Pickle client, and he was so proud. He showed me his cover. He's like, dude, Design Pickle did this.
Yeah.
Look at this, is awesome. And he had some ideas and sketches. And I was like, sweet, because that's a gray area, book covers and illustration.
Okay.
So I'm working on my book, and like 1 month ago, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my book cover request going. I ended up hiring a different designer. I couldn't do it with my own service. And here's why. I didn't have a clear concept. I didn't know what I wanted. my buddy did, I didn't. And so that's like, even though I'm the owner of the company, I hit my own limitations with it. So I found a book cover designer, actually two that I hired.
Okay.
And I gave them very little and they pitched me ideas, and they have that creativity and experience. So, keep that between us and your audience, because I think that's kind of ironic that I wasn't able to eat my own pickles, if you will.
No, that's good. That's actually good to hear about like kind of the limitations of this. So you've got to present the concept, and you submit your design brief, or like if you have something in mind, perfect. But if you're like, look, I want to look at 10 different concepts, 10 different ideas, and see which one really works.
Yeah. And that ultimately is why I love what we're doing, is because you're going to need a bunch of different designers. If your business is growing and scaling, you're going to need interactive and web and copywriters and video and all of this stuff. We're just one little piece of that. That's how we do what we do, is we narrow in on it. It always makes me laugh when people, other designers get mad. We were talking about that at what we do, is because it's like, bro, there's lots of other things we don't do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you don't want to do Facebook ad edits all day long, like which we're really cranking.
Yeah. Do you find you get a lot of agency clients where I'm gonna need 3 or 4 Design Pickle accounts to, service all of, their clients on the other side?
It's a pretty funny progression. So if an agency gets through the first couple of weeks and kind of has the realistic expectations of what we do, then they will eventually add a couple accounts, and we match them with different designers, so they have a couple ones. The agencies that are so pissed is like, they think they're like, I'm going to fire all 4 of my designers and replace them with a $370 a month service.
Yeah.
And they like it, then it doesn't work. Or the agency is like really bad at account management, and they don't know what their client wants. So we'll give them designs and they'll be like, awesome. Hey, by the way, this sucks. And you're like, what? You just said it was awesome. And it's because they have no clue what their client wants. And then it becomes really confusing.
It turns into this big game of telephone. Now,
Yeah.
say I'm signing up for the service. Am I just assigned like first available designer, or how does that dedicated designer process work?
Honestly, it's like online dating. You fill out a profile and we look at your business, we look at your answers, whether you seem nice or have humor or how long your answers are, like all of these touchy-feely factors, your sex, like that matters when we're trying to match. Because some designers, some guys they just need it, no nonsense, I don't want to talk, and other designers or other clients want that. And then we match you, and I say success is about 75%. It's not perfect. I have all these ideas of how we could use AI and to improve it, but we're not there yet. But we have I think we're getting close to 80 designers. So, if one doesn't match, we definitely nail it. The thing is though, is like, you gotta let us know. And that's our biggest problem, is churn, but with like zero data. And I actually was just chasing down this one woman. She gave me tons of feedback in our exit survey after cancellations. And I looked back to her 2 design requests she did, and there was zero feedback, like nothing. Huh. So everything she said, if she would have said it prior to canceling, we could have resolved, but she didn't feel like she had that platform, which is an area of improvement for customer success.
Yeah. All right, so 80 designers on your team currently. You mentioned you're in Arizona. Is everybody else in Arizona too? Like, am I just looking at one tiny corner of the Design Pickle World Headquarters office here? What's going on?
Yeah, it goes around there. We have 7 people here. We have 4 people remote, 2 in Philly, 1 in Austin, 1 in Ohio. Okay. And just hired a guy yesterday, our 4th customer success guy, which is exciting. And then everyone else is in the Philippines, and we have a whole production team, about 10 production team, getting close to about 80 designers. And the production team are like the management and recruiting and all the stuff on top of that.
Wow. People working from like a call center type of place over in the Philippines, or everybody's working from home? Working from home.
And we learned that if you want a full-time job in the Philippines, you're usually commuting pretty heavily somewhere. And we offer that full-time benefit from a work-and-home environment, which I've been to the Philippines. I've tracked a day in a 6-day trip. I was in a car for one of those days, like hour wise. 24 hours of my time over 6 days was spent traveling in vans and traffic and cars.
Yeah.
So that's one of the huge recruiting benefits of us to find people is like, look, you get a weekly full-time rate, and then you can work from home or wherever you have a solid internet connection.
Fair enough, man. Well, we've talked about what the service is, who it's for, who it's not for. You guys check them out at designpickle.com. Russ, any special offers for virtual assistant visitors?
Yeah. So I'd love to give everyone 30% off their first month. We'll do the code VA30 for that. So you can check that out and just go to designpickle.com to see videos, learn about us. And then the only sales pitch I'll make is it's 2 weeks risk-free guaranteed. So honestly, we want you to be a fit, and sometimes people aren't. So you can try the service, test it out, get designs, meet your designers. If it's a fit, awesome. If not, full refund, no questions. We're pretty cool about it.
Very cool. VA30 for 30% off your first month. What a deal, Russ. Thanks so much, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Take it easy, Nick. Thanks.